Oh my goodness. It's like this is like folk music used to be shared, but we used to be able to do it actually in the same room. But it's lovely. It's lovely for us to be here together. I'm going to get back over here. If I had wings, no one would ask me, should I fly?
The bird sings and no one asks why.
I can see myself, wings as I feel. If you see something else, keep your thoughts to yourself. I'll fly free then. If I had wings, no one would ask me, should I fly?
The bird sings and no one asks why.
No, I was just doing an interview. Yeah. Okay, here. I've got it. This.
Maybe that's
Not good. No. Okay. Yesterday's eyes see their colors fading away.
See their sun turning to gray.
You can't share in a dream that you don't believe in. If you say that you see and pretend to be me, you won't be then. You won't be then. If you say that you see, and pretend to be me, you won't be then. Interesting. This was one of your favorite songs when you were just very young, yes? She liked it better than Puff the Magic Dragon. She had good taste. If I had wings. If I had wings, no one would ask me, should I fly? The bird sings and no one asks why. I can see in myself, wings as I feel them. If you see something else, keep your thoughts to yourself. I'll fly free then. Interlude again. How can you ask if I'm happy going my way?
Might as well ask a child at play.
You can't share in a dream that you don't believe in. If you say that you see and pretend to be me. Wait, how can you ask if I'm this very carefully rehearsed? How can you ask if I'm happy going my way?
Might as well ask a child at play.
There's no need to discuss or understand me. I won't ask of myself to become something else. I'll just be me. If I had wings, no one would ask me, should I fly? The bird sings and no one asks why. I have wings in myself and I can see them. If you see something else, keep your thoughts to yourself. I'll fly free then. If she had wings, no one would ask her. Bethany has wings, no one asks.
If you had wings, no one would ask you, should you fly?
If we had wings, no one would ask us. No one would ask us if we should fly.
And we have wings, so no one should ask us. We just
fly. So, good evening, friends. Sorry for the delay once again. I ran downstairs to get Bethany, and I said progress, not perfection, because it's not a half an hour late tonight. But I want to talk a little bit about this song and then chime in with your thoughts, Bethany, and I'd be appreciative. You see, so much of what I believe this country is about in this time that needs to be preserved, that needs to be taught and shared in person, orally, or in this way, is that we have something inherently that works with democracy, which is not that we all line up to be the same person, not that we all line up to see who can compete to look like this or be like that, but that and this was really articulated most powerfully in the 1960s when essentially the conventions of society that we were handed that asked for conformity were challenged. And there was a glorious aspect to doing that. And we said, no, we each have to find out who we are. We have to own ourselves. We have to articulate and sense how we are, what our light is inside of us. And then we have to know how it feels which is what Operation Respect is right about. Isn't that right, Mark? Mark Weiss is on here. Mark? Okay. Speak to me, Mark. Okay, write to me. So anyhow, I just got a call from Mark, and Jillian is on too. So and this is what Operation Respect was all about. And Mark, who was the master, educator, and the one who did all the trainings, and he created the trainings and the validation of the trainings and everything. It's all about first identifying our feelings. How do you feel? And you ask, and how do you feel? Well, I feel it's a nice day. No, what are your emotions? It's so interesting because so many people say, well, I feel that, I'm enjoying myself. No, you're feeling
joy.
You're feeling, it's so hard. And then when you have that you can identify that, then somebody else can share their feelings and they'll say that. And then you'll see something and you'll have different feelings about it. For instance, feelings about the song, Don't Laugh at Me. How many of you think it's sad? How many think? And then once you begin to command these dimensions, you can begin to identify and even direct, control, and create with your feelings. That was really so much, and is so much what is a part of who we are in America, because in a democracy, we need to make the individual decision as to what we believe in and how we care about this or that, and then come down on one side or another and have a discussion about it, and a civil discussion. And the problem has been that there is a tendency, and there, in a dictatorial system, you're not allowed in certain ways to identify who you are. And so this this really is articulating that this song, If I Had Wings. If I had wings, no one would ask me if I should fly, you know? And so there we are. And I thought that would be, who was it that was saying hello to you?
A few people have, but Noel said, as an older citizen, I gotta say, you are making gray hair look good. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. I appreciate the compliment. So, Bethany, how does this idea of individuality, just for a moment, fit into the legend of the code of many? How does it fit into the idea? We will. How does that fit into your vision of how we might save the world? How does it fit into the vision of what you are creating here at this very house, where you're inviting Native Americans from the Akwesasne and the Mohawk tribe as well, I think, but
Mohawk is the Akwesasne is the name of the reservation.
Akwesasne, but it's the Mohawk tribe, to come and reclaim their identity, build a longhouse and everything. Does that in any way square with the truth and the quality of what has been shared in Native American practice as you have experienced it, whether it's a teepee ceremony or sweat lodge or anything? Is there something there? Because you told me that Ben Franklin went to study the Iroquois Confederacy's plan, constitution, or idea of how they wanted to live. You said that was the case, and I thought that maybe in some way indicated the need for the individual, identifying him or herself. Is that
a reach? Yes, it is. I mean, it was interesting that you were talking about that, and as I was listening to you talk, thinking about the difference between the individuality and of the 1960s, which, although it seems to come with this great experiment and explosive creativity, also fed a lot of ego and showing off, and that as I see it and experience it, having been born in the 70s. So I was thinking about that, and also the idea of the collective, and not an authoritarian collective or telling people who you have to be, but the sense of everyone having their individual mission inside of a collectivity. And that, for example, with the Mohawks, we're here on Mohawk territory here in upstate New York in the Mohawk Valley in Schoharie. But everyone, no two people have the same name, for example. So at a certain time, their name is raised from their ancestors. And every name has a meaning, and people are given that name in a very important ceremonial naming ceremony. And so their sense of personal mission and identity and their wings and their absolute sense of being able to fly is also rooted in the collective in that way. So I would just, and there's a lot more to say about that, but it is true that Ben Franklin would go to the meetings and study the Confederacy and the way that the houses were arranged and the representation. And it was the only, as I understand it, the only real functioning democracy on the planet at that time. Even in history, that the Romans were, it was a very small elite that were allowed inside of the gathering, the Cicero world, and it was basically the Roman men. Women weren't allowed, slaves weren't allowed. It was not a real democracy of the people, and neither were the Greeks as well. So that the Iroquois Confederacy, when the colonists arrived here, they would write about them as this quote unquote civilized tribes because they had a very advanced form of government. And many years ago, about the same time, I think, as the Magna Carta, they had a prophet called the Peacemaker who came, and the tribes were warring, and the Peacemaker came with his message of peace and a new way, as I understand it, of reinforcing the great law that they live under, the great law of peace, their original instructions of how to live together. So they actually, that saying of burying the hatchet, they actually took all their weapons and they buried them in the ground to no longer fight, and they formed this confederacy of tribes, which was the model on which the United States was built. So anyway, all of those thoughts are in my head.
And I so appreciate them, and I'm going to turn this thing off because it's not necessary. Yeah, thanks. What I wanted to say is that I had that same thought, and Noel, who is on, Noel Paul Stuckey, he had something that he would talk about sometime in his humor, that absolutely, because this was a double-edged sword. Yes, identify yourself, but then it became self-involved. There's a self-involvement, and he used to talk about people. Well, it was about people, us.
It was a magazine.
Yeah, and then he talked about the evolution to self, and then me.
Right.
So this sense that of privilege also was rearticulated, rather than a sense of the commonness that we, or the commonalities that we shared. All right, so here we go. This is another song. I want to tell you a little bit about it, but first I want to sing it. I think this is good. Shoo, shoo, no. Shoo, 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 la, shoo, la, rock, shack, shoo, la. When I saw my Sally Babby Bill come people in the bush, I know. Here I sit on Buttermilk Hill. Who could blame me? Cry my fill. Every tear will turn a mill. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la, shoo, la, raksha, shoo, la. When I saw my Sally Babby Bill come, the people in the bush, I know. I sold my flats and I sell my gold to buy my love a sword of steel, so that in battle he might win. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la, shoo, la, raksha, shoo, la. When I saw my Sally Babby Bill come, people in the bush, I know. Oh my baby, oh my love, come the rainbow, come the dove. Your father was my only love. Johnny has gone for a soldier. Shoo, 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 la, shoo, la, raksha, shoo, la. When I saw my Sally Babby Bill come, people in the bush, I know. Shoo, 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 la, shoo, la, raksha, shoo, When I saw my Sally Babby Bill come people in the bush, I know. Yay, elbows. A couple of things that I want to say about that. Peter Paul Mary used to sing the song, of course, and I love singing this with Bethany. But there's one verse that has to do with my mother. Did I ever tell you this?
No.
Okay. And then we're going to sing the chorus again, and you have to sing with us, but we're going to teach you. We'll teach you the chorus because these are complicated words. Shul, shul, shularu, shulbat. Okay, here it goes. Here is the verse. It says, "Oh, my baby, oh, my love, gone the rainbow, gone the dove. Your father was my only love." A lot of my life was shaped by my mother, who from whom she was divorced when I was 5. And it was a very, very painful divorce. And she was in love with him like oxygen, and it was actually not until she was 83 when she fell in love again with Joe. Mm-hmm. And Joe was an actor, and then at the time she met him, a court stenographer. And he was 15, 20 years younger than she was. And they didn't fall in love in person. They went to the same Italian class, and then they practiced Italian because my sister Elena lived and lives in Italy, and she would visit the grandchildren. She wanted to speak Italian, so she'd go there, and then Joe and she would go to class, and then they get on the phone. Now, when you're on the phone, you can be any age, you can be any, and they started saying lovey-dovey things to each other on the phone, and they just were crazy about each other. And there are many other stories, but my mother, her sorrow was so deep about the loss of Bernard. It was an endless sorrow, and it affected me deeply, that sadness. And that's where that verse came from. That's not a traditional verse. So I'm gonna teach you the words, or you have to repeat after us. I'll say, this is what we do. Wait a second. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
This is what we did at Occupy.
This is what we did at Occupy.
We'd start saying something. And everybody would repeat it. Because we couldn't have a sound system.
Because you didn't have a sound system.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
Shul, shul, shularu.
Shul, shul, shularu.
Shula rakshak, shula babaku.
Shula rakshak, shula babaku.
When I saw my Sally Babby Beal.
When I saw my Sally Babby Beal.
Come bibble in the bush, I love.
Come bibble in the bush, I love.
Shul, shul, shularu. Shula rakshak, shula babaku. When I saw my Sally Babby Beal. Come bibble in the bush, I love. Shul, shul, shularu. Shula rakshak, shula babaku. When I saw my Sally Babby Beal, come people in the bush. Okay, try it this time. You'll get it this time. Shula, shula, shula rakshak, shula babaku. When I saw my Sally Babby Beal, come people in the bush. Oh, Amy, who is that? Amy Walker, Barry Nicholsburg, David, I can't read it, Ponderous, Gail Hirsch, Chuck Fink, James Peltzer. Oh, that's I know what that is. That's Joni. And then okay, here we go. Shul, shul, shula, shula raksha, shula babaku. When I saw my Sally Babby Beal, come people in the bush. Try it again. Shoo, shoo, shula, shula, raksha, shula, papaku. When I saw my Sally Babby Beer come diddle in the boo, shine, Lord. Okay, but we gotta do this little light of mine. We were talking about our little light shine.
I'm gonna let it shine.
You can sing this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go,
I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go,
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
let it shine.
Let it shine.
In my sister's soul,
In my sister's soul,
I'm gonna let it shine.
gonna let it shine.
In my sister's soul,
In my sister's soul,
I'm gonna let it.
I'm gonna let it
In
shine.
my sister's soul, I'm gonna let it.
Gonna let
Gonna
it shine. Shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
In my Father's heart,
I'm
gonna let it shine. Oh, in my Father's heart, I'm gonna let it shine. In my Father's heart,
I'm gonna let it shine.
let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
For everybody sitting in isolation, I'm gonna let it shine. For everybody sitting all alone tonight, I'm gonna let it shine. For everybody who's feeling lonely, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
For anybody who's a little bit confused,
I'm gonna let it shine.
anybody who's a little bit confused,
Well, I'm gonna let it shine.
for everybody who's wondering what the heck is going on,
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
for everybody who's suffering with the loss of a loved one, I'm gonna let it shine. For everybody who's suffering with the loss of a loved one, for my family that's suffering right now, I'm let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Let it shine.
Yes, there is pain and suffering. I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, there is pain, suffering.
Well, I'm gonna let it shine.
Suffering.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
But there is also hope, and there is also time to reverse the times that have just gone by now. Yeah, there's a time now that's happening when it's reset, and we're all here trying to figure it out and let it shine. Yes, there's a time in our hearts, time in our hearts. Biblical time is upon us. Let it shine, let it shine. We're gonna let it, this little light of mine together. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
For this little light, this little light of shine. I'm gonna let it shine. For this little light of mine. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. All around the world, we're gonna let it shine.
All around the world, we're gonna let it shine. Wait a second. You're not holding hands, because you shouldn't be holding hands unless you're holding hands with yourself. So that's what I'm suggesting. Or you could elbow each other and you go, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, we're singing together, my friends. I think the technology is somewhat better tonight. Let me see if this is on. Oh, is this? We may actually be not using this. Maybe this one didn't kick in. Do you see a light in? Oh, I see a blue. Yeah, okay. Because that's a better microphone than the one inside. The technology we're straightening out. And they're going to be, what we're doing now is we're opening it up so that you can share this link. I mentioned this, and I don't know if you got the message, but that you can share the link to do this. It's always the same link. And if it's on at 9 o'clock. And what I think I'll figure out a way is to say, to set up a link that goes live that says whether or not we're going to have an event, because we can't do it every night. You know, I mean, I look forward to it like crazy. And I love the fact that people are chiming in. Does anybody have a song request or an idea of a thing to be discussed via song?
I would like to add something though, because you always put me on the spot with no warning.
Okay.
I'm just.
But I love doing that.
That's your test.
That's your test. My mother was a teacher. Your grandmother was a teacher.
But you had asked me about if I had wings. Yes. And the kind of individualism and finding your freedom and yourself and your passion and believing in that, and how it related to today or where we are.
Democracy and the challenge.
And you were talking about the 1960s. Anyway, so that there was this time in the 60s of, you know, finding this new voice and breaking the traditional norms. And now there's a moment that we're in where we really understand that the world as it's been constructed right now is an illusion that is a sinking ship and is a destructive illusion. And that it's really up to people to go back actually right now in this time that people are calling this time of stillness and of pause, and to really go back and understand what is their core, what does really matter to them, and how do we start to break out of the shackles of our mind and what we've been fed, you know, over even since the 1960s, and that wasn't the answer either, and that we're really in this time of finding a different set of wings and redefining what those are that can bring us kind of through the eye of the needle right So that's a better answer to what I think the question you were asking.
Right.
And in terms of what we're doing here for people who don't know, I'm very fortunate that I got to pull my mom and my dad here to this amazing place where by a beautiful sacred waterfall in upstate New York in Schoharie. And there's a moment right now and a project that I've been working on of reparations and of restorative justice and of returning this land to the original caretakers of this land, which are the Mohawk people. So we have a sister relative living next door, Tiffany Cook. And so what we've been doing is reimagining together what the future can look like, really finding and grounding ourselves in where we are now at this moment in history, and both individually and collectively, where are our individual powers? What can we draw on to be visionary and reimagine a different kind of collaborative, livable future? So this is the project. It's called the Three Sisters Sovereignty Project. And it is actually about reclaiming our sovereignty, which is what I think If I Had Wings is about from this older perspective, is actually reclaiming your sovereignty as a human being and who you are and what your original rights are. And that we have the right to live that way together, and we have the right to life as sovereign human beings. And so I hope that this global healing that is happening, this is the time in the archetypes of the wounded healer. And so in this time of sickness that we find our healing. And so to relate If I Had Wings to where we are now, I would say that's the evolution of thought has really gone from the healing of the ego of, who am I and who are my wings and nobody's going to tell me what's, to really standing in your power and being able to do that collectively. Right.
Right, that there is that balance between the individual and the collective us. And within that space, we have to find that balance. Because if we are subservient to the dictates, as happen in a fascistic or a totalitarian regime, we lose our hearts as well as our freedom. We lose our individual will, as well as our ability to really formulate a collective point of view out of love. The balance is that it's not just individual and collective, it's also with what intention these acts are performed, whether the intention is to create fear and derive power from fear, or to create love and derive power from love. And it's complex, but it is a great blessing that we have this time where people are doing this reset. I mean, it's just astonishing. All right, so let me see.
River of Jordan.
River of Jordan. Okay. Let me see if I know what I can use instead of that pick. This may be really the answer, because I can't find that thing. No, I need the other pick. Help me find the pick, sweetheart. Then we'll do the River of Jordan.
I don't see picking.
Okay. It should be around here somewhere. Remind me so that tomorrow I'll find it. No
pick.
Take your pick.
Pick free.
No. Well, I see something. Maybe I can do it with this. With an airline ticket.
What are these?
What?
Cards.
Cards. That could be good. Yeah, okay. That's right. I used to do it with matchbooks. Remember, Noel, I used to use a matchbook was when I was figuring out how to do this.
It's not there now.
What?
I was saying there's a pick usually on your guitar.
I know. Let me see if I can make this work. Yeah, it's good because it's less percussive. I travel the banks of the river Jordan to find where it flows to the sea.
And I looked in the eyes of the cold and the hungry, and I saw that I was looking at me.
And I wanted to know if life had a purpose and what it all means in the end.
And in the silence I listened to voices inside me, and they told me again and again
that there is only one river,
that there is only one sea, and it flows through you, and it flows through me. Well, there is only one people, we are one and the same. We are all one spirit, and we are all one name. We are the Father, Mother, Daughter, and Son, from the dawn of creation. We are one. We are one. We are one.
Every blade of grass on the mountain, every drop in the sea,
And every cry of a newborn baby, every prayer to be free,
every hope at the end of a rainbow, every song ever sung,
was part of the family of woman and man, and that means everyone. We are only one river, but we are only one sea, and it flows through you, and it flows through me. Well, we are only one people, we are one and the same. And we are all one spirit, and we are all one name. We are the Father, Mother, Daughter, and Son, from the dawn of creation. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
we are only one.
We are only one river.
We're only one sea.
We are only one sea.
And it flows through you.
And it flows through you.
And it flows through you.
And it flows through me.
We are only one people. We are one and the same. We are all one spirit. We are all one name.
We are the Father, Mother, Daughter, and Son, from the dawn of creation. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
Yeah. Okay. So, friends, where are we? We started a little while ago. We have to end with a little Puff the Magic Dragon because that is our habit. But first, I'm going to read through the comments because maybe there's something that will have emerged that has to be done. Here we are, going from the most recent, Bob Corwin. Oh, you have a pic? Okay, send it over. Nice to see. Less ceiling. Oh, less ceiling. All right. Here, less ceiling. All right. And some guitar. Oh, well, yes. All right. Well, there's the guitar. Okay, good idea. And then pick a little, take a little. What? Cheap, cheap, cheap. I don't know. Resourceful. Robert Corwin. Can you read them, because I can't read this?
River of Jordan, yes, for old coat. For Harmon, Messiah, and Henry, and Emery, always let it shine. Music, please. So beautifully expressed. Thank you, Bethany. I love you too, Elizabeth. Hi, Christopher.
Oh, Anya.
There was a pick on the back of your guitar headstock on the elastic.
Right.
Peter, we've been losing you off the frame to the right sometimes when you talk.
Oh, here it is. It was here all the time. Okay.
If I Had Wings. Hey, Bethany, it's been forever.
Who was that from?
Suzanne Taylor.
All right.
Donut Days. Thank you. It's cousin Kathy. So great to hear.
Kathy, Kathy, can I tell them that call me up? I'm going to turn on my phone. If I can tell them. No, that would be.
Jerry, let that light shine. Marvin Berkowitz, what a special treat to have the two of you singing together.
Is that Jerry Critchley?
Marvin Berkowitz.
Is that Jerry Critchley who said that? You said Jerry said.
Jerry Critchley.
Yeah. Yuri Regev again from Hadush.
Carol Nash. Dolores, I found the link.
Dolores who?
Tom Walk. Carol Nash. Dolores, I don't know. Definitely starting to shine. Diana Northrop, thanks for doing this at such a tough time. Mary Catherine Alden, so nice to hear you and Bethany singing together. Green Levine, hi Bethany and Peter, love Jess in Seattle. Anyway, lots.
No, but there are more.
There are. Sherry Quimby, take the chance.
Take the chance, Sherry Quimby. Oh, Sherry, hi, sweetheart.
Barry Nicholsburg, hi Barry, great man.
Barry is you've been so wonderful, Barry. Barry, you have to call me up after this and tell me if my skin is looking better, because I'm, you will see that this tremolo or this tremor is much reduced, and I'll show you the medicine, if you want to know, the medicine that does it for you. If you have a tremor, as I do, an essential tremor, not a Parkinsonian tremor, this is the stuff that's doing it. Okay, hang on. That's too bright. Hang on. I'm going to shield it from the light. All right. Take it. Oh my God, it's reversed. All right. Well, in any event, you can get in touch with me, because my tremor was getting so bad, and now I could never have done this. Okay. And
this is Peter
Basia.
And Alexi, love you guys. And Alexi is playing guitar with you from Columbus, Ohio.
You're playing guitar in sync?
Elliot Kleinman, shalom.
Shalom. That's Rabbi Elliot Kleinman.
Bob,
is Christopher there? Christopher, why aren't you?
Christopher's there.
He's going to be here in another week and a half, I think. Maybe.
In quarantine.
He's now in quarantine.
Well,
in quarantine. Yes. Elizabeth. Oh, thank you. And she said, thank you, Bethany. Love you, Elizabeth, from Elizabeth Kaladny. And then there's David Carbone. Music, please. That's probably saying enough talk. Christopher, for Harmon, Mistia, Henry, and Maria, I always let it shine.
And her Zuckerman requests, Mary Had a Little Lamb. She's 3 years old.
Oh, Mary Had a Little, we got to do that. All right, for Harmon. Mary had a little, that's it, we'll do it. Mary had a little lamb. We'll do it. Mary had a little lamb, little fleece was white as snow.
Everywhere that
Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was
sure to go.
He followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. He followed her to school one day, which was against the rules.
Made the children
Laugh and play,
laugh and play.
laugh and play. Made the children laugh and play to see
The lamb at school.
But then the teacher turned it. Let me see it. Okay. Then the teacher turned it out, turned it out, turned it out. Then the teacher turned it out. See,
It made it as everything was so sad.
Okay, the children ask, why does the Lamb of Mary so, Mary so, Mary so? Why does
The land of Mary
so? The eager children cried, and here's the great truth, the great truth. 'Cause Mary loves the Lamb, you know, Lamb, you know, Lamb, you know. Mary loves the Lamb, you know. Teacher did reply. Together, Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had little lamb. Fleece was white as snow. Do you know that was the first song that Peter, Paul, and Mary sang together? A very good song it is, because it has this truth in it that if you want somebody to love you, I mean, why does the Lamb love Mary so much? You say, why does my kid love that person so much? Because they loved the kid. So if you want somebody to love you, love them. Don't give them money or gifts. Look at all these. Oh, there's so many lovely things. Mary Catherine, so nice to hear. What is it? Ann Walker.
Amy Walker.
No, Amy Walker. One of my favorites, whatever that song was. You miss Vera, says Elliot Kleinman. That's my mom. Carol Nash. Yes. Chuck Fink, yes. Joni Pelzer. Trudy Mason. We sang Sweet Survivor for you last night, darling. And we did speak to you. Let me see. Donna Collins from beautiful Donna from Connecticut, and says, hope you'll sing Don't. We did the other night, but I can't do it. We got switching the repertoire around here, but yes, we will come back to it. And let me see, and Tree, Laura Keenbaum. All right, Little Puff, and I think we know Barry. Love you so much, my brother. And Mark, you are the MS best. Oh, David Osher. David, my brother from Telluride. Thank you. Bob Storley. I owe you 5 emails, but I owe everybody 5. I've been so behind. This is really, it started out as just very, very, I was anxious about this, this becoming impossibly difficult technically, and it has been, but it's, you've been very generous, and, we were generally half an hour late, except for the first night. But I spoke to Tori, who's been doing the technology, and I got it down now, I think. All right. Is the sound good tonight? Reasonable, folks? Can you text or, say it online? What is the term? If the sound...
Message.
The message us.
Great sound, says Bob Corwin.
Well, Corwin has great ears. All right, here we go.
Sound is good. Yep.
Puff,
sounds
the
good.
magic dragon.
Lived by the sea.
Frolic in the autumn mist. The land called
Europa.
Little Jackie Paper.
Loved that rascal Puff.
And they ate good vegetables, and
that was
quite enough. Together they would travel, nowhere far because of the coronavirus. And they lost their job because no one would hire us. But they found mechanisms to reach out and look deep inside. And instead of being a terrible thing in some ways, it was a beautiful ride. Oh, the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in the land called Annalee. Oh, the magic. Are you singing along? Let's look. Mic check.
Mic check.
I would like you to learn the words
to
the chorus of this song. Repeat after me. Puff the magic dragon.
Puff the mango dump truck.
Lived by the sea. Let me hear you. Good. And frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. You got it. I got it. All right, here we go. Try singing it with us, okay? I want to see Bethany a little more in the picture again. Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. And we've seen great dynamics as the world seemed to fall apart. But soon there were other elements and silver linings that touched our hearts. We saw that out of this terrible pouring rain, some sunshine could be woven so we could reclaim our lives again. Oh, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. Oh, Puff, that's Theo Buchanan. Oi, Puff the magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Annalee. Actually, that was Theo B. Carroll doing Tevye. If you've not seen it, Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish, go there when it reopens, my friends, and you'll see it's most powerful and more serious, and it's not a Broadway lark. It's not just a musical, a walk in the park. with George or anybody else. We're gonna say good night. We're going to have a wonderful time, eliminating the fighting and the vitriol, as we realize that we're all together. That's so strange how this has brought us together and to seek sweeter weather. And we do that in a dragon that's forever, but not so, little girls and boys.
Painted wings and dragon's rings make way for other toys.
One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more.
So Puff and mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar.
And his head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain.
Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane.
Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave.
So Puff, that mighty dragon,
Suddenly
slipped into his cave.
So we got to find out for each of us, without our lifelong friend, who is our lifelong friend? Seeing is believing in the things you see. Loving is believing in the ones you love. And we'd sing, seeing is believing in the things you see. Loving is believing in the ones you love. And now that I am old, my best friend lives inside of me. The others smile at me and call me crazy. But I am not upset, for long ago I found the key. I always knew
Their
seeing must be hazy.
My
Friend and I would while away the hours, dancing and romancing in the wild flowers. And we'd sing, let me sing, sing, we'd sing. Seeing is believing in the things you see.
And loving is believing in the ones you love.
And we sing, seeing is believing in the things you see. Loving is love and believe in the ones you love. And we go. And now we're saying goodnight. And it's so good to be with you here, my friends. Sending love until another night you're here, because we're gonna share this way like in the good old days. While riding on a train west, I fell asleep for to take my rest. I dreamed a dream that made me sad concerning myself and the first few friends I had. This is Bob Dylan's dream. We'll do the rest of it tomorrow. Bethany, elbows, I love you, sweetheart. This is really a great privilege. Thank you all. We're going to end the stream and see you tonight, if all goes well, at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, and at the same time, same station. Love, love, love. Bethany, do you have some final word or gesture?
Love, 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 love.
All right, there you go.
Right.